third one's in favor of Xixo. So I think as far as the matchups go, it's very even, which is cool because that means we'll probably go to the blind pick round, which is where players really get to showcase not only their decision making as far as their deck choices go, but also the ladder style comes even more into play when you, well, even less because you know the decks. So it makes the decision making a little more important since you're not just randomly picking 3 decks.
All right, well, over on FlyBird's end, he did have Innervate early on, which is nice, just so that way you can pick up, ooh, he has 2 Shades now, so I think that's a very great start here. Innervate Shade into Coin Shade.
Very scary.
So he curves out very nicely for turns 1 and 2. And of course, that probably will not make Xixo happy in the slightest.
Nope. Armorsmith is pretty good. It means you are guaranteeing that Shade's going to stay in for one more round, but sometimes that's a bad thing. Shades are a really great card against Warrior because a lot of times Druid just beats Warrior out of sheer damage potential in the mid game because it's hard for Warrior to deal with a lot of medium-sized creatures. They can usually deal with small creatures early on with weapons and big creatures with their removal.
That's where Death Bite actually comes into play.
That's
here.
True.
You also can line up your removals for like Shades of Naxxramas if you want. Tough spot here for Xixo. Might even start being slightly more aggressive with his Cool Taskmaster here, just so that his Armorsmith doesn't die for virtually nothing. It's a tough give and take though, because now you're like, then what if you draw Execute? And then it's like, well, now you don't have a way to easily pop it other than hoping your minions trade into it. He simply just removes it, and you're in trouble again.
But at the same time, if he uses the shield block right now, the armor could get bopped off before he is able to use Shield Slam.
You cycle, so it doesn't feel very strong. FlyBird, again, a couple of interesting choices, but I really like the idea of investing into these Shades of Naxxramas. Let them get really big, go for the Savage Roars, and you have so much damage.
Well, he's already got one piece of the combo. So a combo, if those Shades of Naxxramas live that long, which I doubt they will, because that's 6 turns from now, which it's likely that he's going to have to try and leverage at least some sort of control with those Shades.
I'm definitely not liking an attack here with Shades of Naxxramas. There's just too many things that your opponent can have, whether it's Death Bite, Fiery War Axe, Shield Slam, Executes, and it just makes you invested an Innervate into this. Like, this is what you want them for. Whoa. Very good draw for Xixo to play something on curve too. Xixo plays so fast. It's quite refreshing, honestly.
Well, okay, it's new into the season. He's coming off probably, well, his EU Legend grind and probably an NA Legend grind as well. He's just playing. He's used to those fast games.
He needs to finish so he can continue to grind those.
Exactly, which I'm surprised he played Warrior. Not surprised that he put a Piloted Shredder in Warrior. If anybody's going to play a faster version of Warrior, I think it would be Xixo. Or
so,
Chalky.
Innervate number 2 here. It's actually okay. If he had like a contingency plan to follow it up, it's just that it's so scary to pick up something that you can't use afterwards. But Sylvanas on a board where you can seize the Pilot Shredder also feels pretty good too. Do you go for it? I think it's better than passing.
Or just swiping the Piloted Shredder, see what happens. Maybe hero powering, Innervate hero powering down.
Doesn't feel very good at all.
Okay.
You give up 2 cards to remove 1. I think Innervate Sylvanas is definitely the best play here.
Okay.
I have no time for games.
He is running out of cards though, which could be a thing. I mean, the cards that he has in his hand are still pretty good, and you have to take into account the fact that he has 2 growing Shades on the board as well. And this is pretty awkward because you can't just it's not a clean removal of that Sylvanas.
Well, it is. You just kill it, but she's gonna take whatever remains.
Yeah, that's what I meant by not
now,
being clean.
You know what's super hilarious? Imagine this: a Doomsayer pops out. You kill it off, let him steal Doomsayer, and no matter what, it guarantees pops next turn.
Wow.
The dream.
That really is.
There's, I think, 63 or something around that 2 drops.
That's a
chance-
very low percentage
it's like
chance.
1 point something percent. But during those 1 point something percent, it happens every time.
Wow. That's very true. Very, very true.
Xixo, you know what to do. You know what to do, buddy.
He's got to be quick. That rope is counting down now. He doesn't have much room to make it.
Aww.
And it looks like he's going to ignore it.
He's going to let his opponent make the trades into it. How much damage is this from Savage Roar? 5, 10, 16. Plus 8 is 23. 24 damage. That's just crazy. That's so much damage on turn 5. Innervate's a funny card.
Yes, it is. Wow, it's so crazy that he just passed. I mean, I guess he has a lot of life gain in his hand at the moment.
He wants him to reveal the Shade, or to attack into the Pilot Shredder first, or to like weaken the Sylvanas and then do something else. Like basically force the initiative so that way he doesn't have to give up what's on the other end of the Pilot Shredder. He doesn't want to give up the people who are driving his machines.
But can't FlyBird just attack with Sylvanas, keep his Shade stealth, and be in the exact same position that he was the previous turn?
Well, he'd be doing damage back.
That's true. And it's 6 power as opposed to
Wow.
5 power.
So basically, both these guys skipped their turn 5s. There was a little bit. Oh!
Oh,
Never mind.
maybe not!
Hold the phones.
Captain Greenskin. That is a card.
Okay, so now you can actually deal with this by suiciding Pilot Shredder. Ah, that's actually pretty good. It's like pretty decent so that Sylvanas doesn't just get bullied. Oh, I thought he was going to shield block, shield slam.
He's dead.
Oh, you're right. GG.
Wow.
Savage Roar.
Just a Savage Roar.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to shield block, shield slam.
That seems a
Shade.
little bit hasty and risky to not play around it in that point.
The reality is this is such a bad matchup.
It really
it's
is.
so hard for Warriors to take initiative against Druid, especially if it was. Well, I mean that's another topic for another day. In the meantime, we have a pretty straight-up matchup. I wasn't surprised at all to see FlyBird once again pick Handlock, but has he made any changes whatsoever? I find it hard for those players who transition from Friday night to Saturday morning play to make changes because it's just too different sometimes that you might function differently. The matchups, but if you play with it too much.
You don't have much time to like play around with changes though.
Right. You only have a limited amount of hours to practice and sleep and also function as a human being.
Well, ZombieChow is a really great turn 1 play against this deck because it answers a lot of the pesky threats that Paladin can put out early on, like Shielded Minibot, or even it helps deal with Muster for Battle, which can be problematic. Or a Noyotron.
He does end up giving up his Mountain Giant, but it's okay for Xixo.
He's still a Twilight Drake, so he's still got a good turn 4 play as well. Is he tempted to use the Owl here? I don't.
It's worth thinking about, but I don't think he'd do it.
Because then the Owl is a valuable card in the Paladin matchup, and you're delaying your Mountain Giant as well as making your Twilight Drake weaker.
I wasn't expecting that.
I was not either.
So by doing it, you just take away power of like Muster for Battle. But you do give up your ability to like it's just one less silence in your deck if it comes down to Tyrion. You might have to just confront him manually. Like you have to remove him through Siphon Soul, and then you have a 5/3 weapon. So it might not get down to that point. He also does have Twilight Drake, So he does have a turn 4 play. It would have been much worse if he did that and he didn't have anything to do this turn.
Yeah.
But everything seems to work out okay, at least for now.
And trading in the Zombie Chow is good in this situation, because you're giving him as little value as possible.
Interesting. He has a Bomb Lobber. Very interesting.
The Bomb Lobber was put into Paladin decks when GVG first came out. When people were starting to experiment with Paladin decks, Bomb Lobber was the card that a lot of pros were saying, oh, this card's great. Let me throw it into a Paladin deck.
Well, if he attacks into the Twilight Drake, I'm pretty sure that telegraphs Consecration, in which case you should Defender of Argus to play around that. But then the weapon still kills off the Drake. 1 for 1.
And then you're down a Defender of Argus, and it doesn't fit your curve, and you're getting far away from your Mountain Giants.
But then Paladin doesn't get the value of Xixo that he wants to. He did take a lot of damage in the process. He healed for 4, but took 14, so he took 10 extra.
So many
I still think Defender is the best play.
Okay.
Here. Based off the reads that you make on your opponent.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you.
If you tap, you might tap into nothing.
It's actually very likely that you tap into nothing. I mean, maybe an Ancient Watcher would be just about the only thing you'd play in that situation. And even then, if you're tapping, then you're probably just trying to get closer to Mountain Giant, so I don't think you'd even play this.
Right. If it's Consecration, then yep, you don't play that.
I can Mountain Giant next turn.
So now if you're Xixo, I think you use the Bomb Lobber, right? To just snipe the Twilight Drake. You like kill off the Iron Beak Owl and then send him a delivery.
You know what? Why not? There's no other good plays here.
What are you saving this Bomb Lobber for then? Oh man.
Interesting.
I do not have a good feeling about this Knife Juggler.
If he does not hit the Iron Beak Owl, that's an easy trade for Knife Juggler. No.
Okay, so Xixo doesn't trust his own luck, and rightfully so because of what just happened, but really?
I still think Bomb Lobber, you're not even putting anything to luck. And you're still putting a
Right, there
okay
was
body.
a 100% chance it sniped something, but
And Alder Peacekeeper is a great card in this matchup because of Giants. He's not worried about it because now the Mountain Giant's probably going to come down this turn.
There has to be something meta behind this. So, no, there has to be a reason. I refuse to accept that he's just doing this because he wants to put pressure on.
If you find
What happens on turn 6 normally from hand lock? I'm just too stupid to understand this play.
Swanus?
I'm too incapable of understanding.
We have two brains here, Frodan. We have to be able to think of this together.
Why would you use an Outdoor Peacekeeper on the Owl when you know there's so many better targets? You want the body there. You want the body there for 3 damage. So that way Bomb Lobber becomes better when you answer a Giant. So you coin out this Bomb Lobber and then
Would an Outdoor Peacekeeper just be a better answer to a Giant?
Hold on. Bomb Lobber time. But the problem is that the Bomb Lobber hits the Owl. You have to attack with the Juggler first. This has gotten pretty complicated. Okay, you got it right. Boom. So he doesn't overkill.
Okay. Well, in the grand scheme of things...
This is uncharted waters, TJ.
Wow.
Like, I'm definitely getting a feeling of Magellan here.
Okay. It's his,
Like, you know, Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
All those other very brave people in the 1600s.
Yeah.
They felt like this too. They
Did
had no clue what they were doing when they were like putting out there. They had a general idea, but like, I have never seen that in the history of ever.
Well,
Like an Alder Peacekeeper on an Owl like, in this matchup.
in a similar vein, watching this, I feel like I'm going to fall off the edge of the earth as well.
The world is flat.
My world is flat. Xixo's world is round. That's the difference between me and him.
Well, he has a vision that I am clearly incapable of seeing at this point. Silencing the Sylvanas is his best course of action, and can be defensive around it as well.
Okay.
He has to have like Sneasel, Shredder, and like other really grindy cards here too, right?
Yeah.
His Paladin is slower. It feels slow, but his Knife Jugglers inherently make it a faster matchup.
We haven't really seen the identity of this deck just yet. Just seems like a pretty standard mid-range so far.
I'm definitely trying to understand it as we go along. And, you know, this is what FlyBird's also thinking. But some people are like, well, why aren't the commentators ever competent about what's going on? This is already very much into the mind of how a player feels when they're looking at the deck and seeing the Paladin as it's being played. I'm pretty sure FlyBird was also flabbergasted by what we saw.
Yeah, and he's probably thinking the same thing. He's thinking, well, there has to be a reason for him to do this.
Right.
And what could that reason be, and how should I best play around it? And it could throw him for a loop a little bit.
Well, in the end, the Giant did get killed by the Peacekeeper, so the net result was about the same.
Except you don't have a Giant on the board that's just being pesky by killing your 1/1s.
Right, because then the other Peacekeeper didn't have to necessarily die.
Yeah.
Because it would have been a 1/8 instead of an 8/7 taking damage.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gets complicated.
Yeah.
A lot of theory.
There's a lot of damage that you would miss, but I guess missed damage against Handlock isn't that big of a deal because unless you're killing them, sometimes damaging them is the wrong thing to do.
Well, Shadow Flame unfortunately leaves just a little bit too low attack to trade with the Iron Beak Owl.
That's pretty fortunate for FlyBird to get a 1-attack creature off of that, because then now he preserves his Iron Beak Owl, which is pretty annoying. Because this True Silver Champion would have been just a nice, easy right into the Defender of Argus. And now it's, well, he has to clear the board over 2 turns, and then he's not using his last True Silver Champion to maybe push through for face after like an Equality Consecrate.
Zombie Chow is extremely dangerous in this matchup just because your opponent can play Molten Giants and heal up for even more. So he might hold off on it.
And Xixo's getting dangerously low. He's at 11 health, and he's only got 2 cards left. And both cards are very underwhelming cards. I mean, he's got a Charge of True Silver Champion left and the Powdered Shredder on the board, but this is a scary looking hand for FlyBird. It seems like he's in a pretty good spot.
Well, yeah, you bring up a great point. There's what really can Xixo do, short of just Equality bursting him. That's always something in the back of your mind. He's like, well, I have 8. He has 8 damage on board. There's a lot of what he could do if he has Equality, but Sludge Belchers are so problematic for Paladin to get through.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is, I mean, short of a quality draw this next turn, this game is sealed.
No. Unless this Pilot Shredder can do something super impactful.
What could it possibly get?
Well, a little bit too late, I suppose. That's going to do it for game 2, and Xixo drops very quickly to FlyBird. He's going to have to 3-0 with his remaining deck and then go into the Blind Pig stage. And be the open player of the week going into the semis.
Oh, it's Handlock!
Oh, it is Handlock. It's not Zoo. So he's trying to confuse people by mixing it up, and FlyBird will most likely mulligan for Zoo. Is he going to toss away these cards to try and get Fiery War Axe?
These cards would be pretty good against Handlock, but...
Yeah, he tosses it away to try to find Fiery War Axe. Oh, man.
That's not a Fiery War Axe.
If it was Zoo, he would be in so much trouble.
The only solace that he can take out of this situation is the fact that he has Brawl as an emergency way to deal with a board. Because this hand is weak against both Handlock and Zoo.
Well, now it's like a, well, alright, at least it's not Zoo because my hand is terrible. And of course, Xixo immediately would tap.
Okay. Well, he's got something.
Yeah, a very painful exchange in the next turns too. Okay, so does he have Sea Giant in this deck, like you were talking about? It is possible.
Yeah, this was, I believe it was Frozen, who made the handlock deck, but basically like took out Jiraxis and took out like some late game and put in Implosion and Sea Giants. So he basically had every giant but Clockwork Giant, which is pretty interesting. It helps against aggro a little bit because you Sea Giant's sort of like the middle ground of like giant safety in an aggro matchup because it's tough to lay Mountain Giants.
Yeah, sure.
And Molten Giants can be dangerous when you're low, but are usually relatively easy. Sea Giant's sort of the middle ground. You can lay it when you're in danger and still be able to do other things like Molten Giant, but you're not necessarily have to be low to be able to lay them. So I like it.
So FlyBird's in an awkward position too. He's gonna execute this giant. I do wonder if you're right, where we'll see the Sea Giants come into play and it'll be in the middle of the ground approach here. But Xixo now can take initiative on the board, and now that Death Bite has been used, he's got Implosion. It's definitely a lot stronger now.
It is.
Ooh,
definitely
Twilight
is.
Drake off the top is also very good. He just used an execute
Mhm.
and all of his armor. Twilight Drake is very good. It is off curve.
He might.
Lotheb would be much stronger.
Yeah. I think he feels inclined to play on curve. That way next turn he can make a stronger Twilight Drake because he'll be able to tap as well. Shield Maiden. Fantastic way to answer a Lotheb though.
Right, I mean, there's only one spell anyways. It's not like it was... It's not about the spell, it's about the 5/5 body. It's about the 5 mana.
What now?
And of course, having the ability to pressure the armor.
Mm-hmm.
So if he plays Shield Maiden, do you ignore Shield Maiden or do you trade? Do you ignore Shield Maiden to try to reduce the amount of damage?
And reduce the effectiveness of a Shield Slam.
Yeah, that's what I meant, sorry. Remove the amount of damage done by Shield Slam.
Yeah.
Is there a way to compromise? Perhaps. Doesn't look like it.
He could have tried to roll high on Implosion, but that's really risky. I like this play better.
That is super risky.
And there's the Shield Slam, and that becomes problematic because now he can't just armor up and... well, I guess he wouldn't have been able to anyway, but this makes it just really awkward for him to do.
Yeah, FlyBird, if he wants to take this out, has to... Oh man, he really has to take a lot of damage, or he can brawl prematurely, but that's highly ill-advised just because brawl is one of your reset buttons when things get too crazy. And if your opponent knows that you don't have brawl, he can make a push to end the game early if he has a lot of giants and you have nothing.
You can set up Death's Bite and... I don't know. I was thinking you could try and keep your Shield Maiden alive to still challenge the Lotheb while still taking out the Twilight Drake, but it's just really inefficient.
Yeah, you can do that. You can even Shield Slam as well if you want to.
Yeah, that's what I was
Really
saying.
take
Death
it
Bite and Shield Slam.
But definitely does not feel very good. You just hero power, and then let the Whirlwind effect kill everything off.
Defender of Argus could be problematic though.
Yeah, but this is where Mortal Coil is like very, very powerful. Draw a card, 1 damage. Like Mortal Coil is like such it's just such a balanced card.
Yeah.
But when it works, it's like unfair, and when it's useless, it's like bleh.
Whoa! And he gets a Mountain Giant from the Mortal Coil as well, so...
Yeah, I'm wondering if he could hold off on that though and play
Sledge Belcher?
Belcher or something else instead.
Sledge Belcher would protect
Maybe-
the Lotheb.
Maybe even taunting up just the Drake. Like if you use if you play the Mountain Giant and then taunt up just the Drake, you force the Death Spite to attack in a very awkward angle, and he can't kill off Lotheb. That way you don't have to give up the first body of Sludge Belcher. The problem I have with playing Sludge Belcher is that it still dies to the Death Spite.
It sort of accomplishes the same thing.
So yeah, actually the more I think about it, I think Mountain Giant and then taunting just the Drake is really good. And this like puts FlyBird in a very awkward spot because he doesn't have like a cool Taskmaster. So what do you do, DJ? What do you do? You're the control warrior expert here.
Brawl.
We're brawl boys. What if the giant survives?
We'll come to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I guess the showdown has not finished yet. Finish what this started, right? Kill off the Drake.
I think you just have to eat it and throw down the Acolyte of Pain. Throw
Yeah,
down
I
the
wouldn't
Acolyte of
mind
Pain
that.
and then eat it.
I wouldn't mind that.
You're still getting some value out of the Death Bite just because of the
For sure.
Death Rattle effect. And that's a nice clean board.
So basically 3 out of the 4 targets you would have been able to kill, but it's all about how much damage that would have scaled.
Implosion. Both Death Bites are gone.
Implosion guarantees a kill. It does give him a card, and you can silence it. I do think Implosion is very strong here. Just because, again, he uses second Death Spite, so now there's even less Whirlwind effects.
Are you worried about Baron Geddon, though?
I suppose you are. But, with that in mind, what else do you do?
Yeah, not really many plays. Well, moderate roll. Right in the middle. Very average Implosion. Statistically average.
Yeah, normal distribution. FlyBird has a Gore Howl in this deck. That's interesting.
I love Gorehowl. I think Gorehowl is one of the best cards that Control Warriors can play.
One
Even
of my
right now.
favorite things to do ever is to cheese with Gore Howl. Have an upgrade or a Captain Greenskin. And then just like do 16 damage. And they're like, ah yeah, I'm out of the range of Gromosh. It's like, no, I actually did 16 damage with my weapon.
Well, I think Gorehowl is even better card when players aren't usually running Gorehowl. Because the surprise factor of Gorehowl can sometimes be an added win condition.
Well, unfortunately, he doesn't have the life luxury at the moment.
Yeah, so it might just have to...
Oh man, too many weapons. That's also been a danger too. Sometimes you just have too many weapons and they clog the hand.
Yeah. Too many weapons will clog up a hand. How does he hold all those weapons?
So, a very annoying situation again. But you can Mortal Coil. Mortal Coil still gives you the room, I believe. Oh no. Before he had the opportunity to play Hellfire and Molten Giant, but I think he just wants to silence this instead. It's very reasonable.
Okay. Well, he's still building a wall, so protecting himself from the combo. He wouldn't have died regardless, because with just a Fire War Axe, Grommash, Cool Taskmaster combination would not have done much. Well, it would have been one off.
This is why maybe developing the Gore Howl could have been stronger, but you know, he was definitely searching for his combo. Like he wanted to find the Grommash finisher with the 10 to 12 damage burst.
And it would have taken so much damage over the course of those couple turns as well.
It's true.
And
You have Alex Straza. Like one of the powerful things about Alex Straza with Gore Howl is being able to put yourself back up to 15.
Yeah. And in Handlock, Alex Straza sometimes can be a liability because you're either using it on yourself to bring yourself down, or using it on the Warlock to usually heal him back up. And I mean, sometimes it can be good if you want to put it on the board and put him in an awkward Molten Giant range. But a lot of times it's just hard to find a situation where you have a great Alex Straza in the Handlock matchup.
Well, he used his Owl, Maybe Sylvanas can get some work done here. Sylvanas and then re-weapon up.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
like that.
seems to be the best middle of the road compromise here.
The 5/6 can feel intimidating, but in reality, it's
Oh, he holds off on the weapon. Not exactly sure why. I guess he's afraid if his opponent has Harrison Jones.
or he doesn't want to waste a Fiery War Axe if he wants to play Gorehowl next turn.
Well, yeah, it's true. That's a good point.
Because Fire War Axe can be a pretty good card if you get to like fatigue battles.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just 3 damage that you're putting on. 6 damage over 2 turns.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And the slower... if one player doesn't seem to have a distinct advantage in this matchup, usually a lot of times it ends up going to a fatigue war.
Well, FlyBird, what you gonna do? Seems like Xixo is just gonna try and field a weak minion to you either way.
Gonna flush him out. Just rag.
Gorehowl, maybe?
Rag. No.
You think
Rag's...
it's Rag?
No.
I think you want to get past that Ancient Watcher.
Yeah, but Gorehowl, I mean, even after you armor up, that's putting you down to, what, 11 health?
But you yeah, you go to 11 health,
Like,
and then you kill off like a 3/3.
What's
so you'd leave 4 power on the board.
Oh, Ragnaros.
You'd be out of range
I'm
of
always
Hellfire
scared of
Dark Bomb.
Ragnaros doing horrible things like hitting the face, and then you just lose everything. If you hit Ragnaros and you miss, he like trades everything into the board in Shadow Flames, and you lose everything.
But then you always have Promise for Ragnaros. To the
Oh,
Promised
man.
Land! Oh!
Wow, he crashed the gates like you wanted.
Yeah, that's best target right there. Pretty much the
Well-
same effect as Gorehowl, except he's putting a rag on the board and
Now there's a
not
board
taking
clear
damage.
though. And he's just gonna push for damage. Like, it's okay because he's gonna use Hellfire and Dark Bomb now as burst. Like, Warrior's in danger of dying because Rag didn't do anything. Rag did the same thing Gorehowl would have.
That's true.
But
Blocked
you know,
a little
effectively
more
he doesn't have
damage.
the health to do it. But he could have had Gorehowl attack and then bounce himself back to the 15. I think he would have been in a pretty decent spot. But right now he's just struggling to stay above water.
Yeah.
He's gonna be at what looks like to be 10 health.
And he's gonna shield Sam. Okay, this
That's
is smart.
just so desperate.
Yeah, otherwise I think he would have. Yeah, he would have been dead.
I mean, it's still a very precarious situation. If you attack into it, if you can actually clear the board here with Hellfire, and then just like play Sludge Belcher. Or
Yeah.
even Sylvanas. Sylvanas is more power. What is scary is the possibility of him killing you if you do anything else. Do
Yeah.
you want to use Shadow Flame instead? I think Shadow Flame's a lot stronger. Oh, he's thinking about Siphon Soul and pressing, right? Siphon Soul 3/5
Well-
attack. That's 4, 5, 8 damage.
If you Shadow Flames, he's giving up a target, regardless. You can't get.
No. You just attack 2 into the 3/5 and then Shadow Flame like the 2/3 or something, and then it kills off everything.
Oh, okay.
You can get away with it.
so many possibilities?
I'm also okay with being defensive here because you are low on health. You will be low on health after you Hellfire. And I like using Hellfire over Shadow Flame.
To push for the threat.
But I guess you do have 2 Shadow Flames.
2 Shadow Flames, and of course, Hellfire could be a surprise burst, and you're never guaranteed.
Really? Wow. I am surprised by the no Sludge Belcher thing.
Yeah. Well, he had to play a card because he was
Yeah.
at 10.
Sometimes you just gotta go full Dennis. Well, I think it's as good as time as ever to Alex Strauss yourself.
Definitely.
He just Dark Bombed the face. So you gain inherent card advantage by doing that. Well, not advantage, but you gain some card back here.
How much removal does he have left?
He's got an Execute.
He doesn't have shield
He's
slams.
held on to that shield slam for a long time, so he's got another one.
Oh, does he?
He's got 11 cards remaining in his deck, so there's still plenty.
11 cards to 4. So if Draxus comes out, he'll be able to safely use Harrison for another, what, 5 turns?
Yeah, 4 or 5. But Xixo is planning on dropping his Moltons before he drops Jiraxis.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
if he gets in range, though, because if
Alex
Alex...
Xixo wanted to tap, so that way he can play his Molten Giants cheaper.
But if he...
No Alexstrasza. Interesting.
It could have put Xixo in an awkward situation if FlyBird had actually laid Alexstrasza, because he would have used Siphon Soul to remove it. And then he would have been at 21 health. And he wouldn't be able to play those Molten Giants. And,
or anything, really.
Or anything. And if he taps, he's only got 4 cards left.
Well, Xixo's still taking his time here, pacing it. I don't think he needs to accompany the Savage with anything. Sunfear Protector seems unnecessary. Oh, he's worried about Gromosh combo.
Okay.
Yeah. Always that annoying 12 damage that might finish the game.
Yeah, that would have been exact lethal.
Well, FlyBird also in a similarly awkward spot.
He can't take too much damage here.
Yeah. I mean, actually, you can. You just, like, say you attack Sylvanas with everything, and then Alexstrasza yourself back up to 15.
That's an
Right?
option. Yeah.
I feel like that's your best course of action.
What now?
Because shield block, almost regardless of what you get with shield block, you're still going to be using that fireworks to attack the face, so you're wasting the armor. So you're basically just cycling for 3 mana.
Yeah, I actually do like the Alexstrasza play here. I think it sets up a strong enough board that your opponent has to respond, and then, like, you still need to extend your life here. You're still too low. You're like 1 Iron Beak away from dying.
Yeah. And this is sort of where it gets problematic, though. Oh, Dr. Boom. He can't Dr. Boom and
Siphon Soul.
Siphon Soul, though. But Dr. Boom does give him a play to make if he Siphon Souls. Because if he Siphon Souls, he's going to be way out of range of Molten
Do you need a
Giants.
Siphon Soul?
Do you?
I mean,
So many
Maybe not.
He needs a very specific set of cards. Okay, well, he's going to go for it. I was saying he needs a very specific set of cards to kill you. Whirlwind Execute. But you're on your last life. I guess Xixo's going to play it safe.
And he holds on to the... doesn't tap, because he knows that he's getting too deep in his deck. And this is a good opportunity to play the Gorehal. Holds off on the shield block as well, because he wants to save that armor for the second shield block.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Well, Dr. Boom is as good a time as ever. And that Iron Beak Owl came in definitely too late, but still, FlyBird's under heavy pressure here. He's got some ways to gain life, though, and be defensive. Definitely the big game hunter is coming out, though. I think he wants to consider all of his sequencing options, though.
This actually could be looking pretty decent for FlyBird. It's just such an awkward set of turns.
Well, don't forget there's 2 Molten Giants.
But are one of those Molten Giants going to be able to be played?
Well, he's going to hit Fatigue soon.
That's true.
And then Jiraxis will be a heal. It's not going to be anything else, really.
But is there going to be a turn where he can safely factor in Fatigue to play 2 Molten Giants without dying the next turn?
Yeah, he's got Sludge Belcher.
That's only one turn. Fatigue's not that quick.
Well, so
if he doesn't take any
He'll
damage...
just play 1 Molten Giant, and then he'll play, like the Sludge Belcher. And then he's got Jiraxis to heal some health too. And by then, your opponent can't play Harrison Jones because he's going to start fatiguing himself too, and he's on low health.
It's true.
He might die next turn.
Wow.
No, he can't actually if he shield blocks. Shield block? He doesn't want to shield block. So if you silence silence the Armor Smith, attack with both boom bots. No.
Attack one boom
There
bot
has to
into
be a
the Armor
lethal
Smith.
opportunity here, right?
Okay.
Potential lethal. 2,
Okay.
4.
Silence the Armor Smith.
There's 5. He has 10 health. So silence the Armor Smith, Shadow Flame the Owl, and then Hellfire. And then what happens is you have to do 5 damage when you have a scale of 8. So that is 10 out of 16 chances, which means right now Xixo has a 63% chance to lethal his opponent.
Wow, he did the math.
If he gives up everything in his hand right now, like the Owl, and then like Shadow Flame.
He's
and
looking at it.
Hellfire.
Hovers
No.
over Owl, hovers over Shadow Flame, hovers over Hellfire. That's better than a 50-50.
It's also very risky if it backfires. You might not need to do that risk. Siphon Soul on an Armor Smith. Look at that.
Bold.
Okay, well one of the bombs did 2 damage. And if the other bombs did 3 damage, I'm going to use my confirmation bias to say that he had lethal.
Okay.
That he,
Nice.
oh, okay.
Miss lethal. He just missed
The
lethal.
reality is Xixo could have went for lethal, but he would have given up a lot to do it.
Very risky move. Very risky move.
But, you know, if he was up 2-0, I would say you can go for it. But when you're down 0-2, yeah.
Yeah, about that. Well, Shield Minion's pretty good because it gets him out of range of just about everything.
Well, it's also important to have a 5-5 on the board,
Yeah,
too.
especially both Siphon Souls are gone. I mean, it's going to get killed by what's on the board, but...
Siphon Soul on the Armor Smith. Wow. He did that to minimize armor gain as much as he could.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. He's going to need this Owl and Big Owl to get past whatever final taunt he has, too. So that's why he kept the Owl.
And I guess giving himself more room to maneuver with health. Now that he's going to be hitting fatigue. Could be good.
Okay.
Ooh.
Xixo would not have had lethal. The bomb did 2 damage.
Okay, guys, calm down. Didn't miss lethal. We're okay. Back to square one.
So,
Now this leaves an execute opportunity with the Armor Smith still on the board.
well, assuming he doesn't get past the Sludge Belcher.
Very true. I think this it's a 4-attack Gorehowl now as well, so he can't.
Also, you can. Yeah, it's a 4-attack Gorehowl. Oh, you're right. You can't kill off this Armor Smith, but it's just so much health potential. He does need to start whittling an opponent away. He is on fatigue.
Silence. Yikes. Okay, well he's got a decent sized board, but
Baron Geddon also works for both players at this point. Don't know if that's what you want. You do take away 2 damage. I guess the way you can look at it is Baron Geddon is net for this turn because you take 2 damage anyways. Oh, that is so painful.
so he'd put him at he'd be at 11 health at the end of this turn with 5 power on board.
Yep.
Oh no, 4 power on board.
No, 7 power on board. Oh, you mean your opponent?
Yeah, your opponent, yeah.
Here we go. So he's gonna go down to 10 health.
But how does he deal with the Baron Geddon?
He's got Hellfire.
That's
2
true.
damage. He taps. He takes 3.
So if he taps, he takes 3, he'd be at 16. He Hellfires, he'd be at 13. That'd be 6 mana. He could play a 3-mana Molten Giant. But he could
Oh.
Hellfire and play a Molten Giant
That's
for 6
interesting.
mana anyway.
So if he taps, he'll take 3 damage.
But either way, he's only playing one Molten Giant. It's just whether or not
Oh,
he.
right. Yeah, okay, then there's no need to tap. The tap
Yeah.
is only if you need to play the second Molten
Yeah.
Giant for cheap. Is he so ballsy that he'll leave up Baron Geddon? No. I was like, he thought about it for a brief second. Oh man, this is really tense. For Xixo's tournament life on the line.
He has to take that 8 damage.
At this point, you can play Jiraxis too, right? Because if he Harrisons, he's gonna fatigue and kill himself.
Indeed. Wow.
What do you even do? If you play...
Armor up, hit Molten Giant,
Execute.
execute, then Shield Maiden. To preserve armor for the second
No
Shield Slam.
way.
Wow.
Holy crap. I think he Dr. Booms. I don't know. Shield Maiden. Okay. Yeah, Shield Maiden, because you know he has Jiraxis.
Draxus.
So now, you have to Jiraxis, right? It's like, it's the only way. 7 damage, you take 4 next turn.
If you Molten Giant, then next turn Fatigue, Gromish would kill you.
He dies either way to Gromosh right now. Oh! Well,
That's-
that's gonna be it. Because he just has to attack with
Wow!
everything now.
Oh, man! And Xixo has to be expecting this.
I think Jiraxis was the only way he could have survived, right? He
Yeah.
would have taken 4. No, he would have been dead either way.
Yeah.
He would have been dead either way. Because the damage would have been enough.
What? He had 7 on board, plus 4, that's 11, plus the fatigue damage. Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that won't
doesn't matter.
because it looks like FlyBird will advance 3-0.
Wow.
And when it matters the most, he's able to buckle down and win. Now, that means Xixo is